What's up, guys? It's episode 38 of My Cuddles with me, Gillian the Savage Robertson, and I never know which way to point, but Dave Van Auken. Right over there.
Man, I can't get too buff. I don't want to get too buff, but I'm working on it. I got to get, I'm on that HGH thing, you know?
It's the struggle, right? Getting too buff.
I guess so. I don't know. That's another story for another time. What's up, G? How are you?
I'm doing good. Guess just big fight weeks is really that's the only thing that's on my mind right now. Got Hannah Goldy fight week.
I know. I'm so pumped. It's a big one for Hannah. It's a big one. I'm like so excited for her. With her being in Orlando and the same circles, I talked to a lot of her teammates and friends and all that stuff. Everything I've heard, she's had like a great fight camp. Like she looks in phenomenal shape, like always. How about you? Like, I don't think you've been up in this time with the surgery and that nature. It seems like you've trained maybe less with her this kind of training camp. Is that safe to say?
Oh yeah, I went up there once this camp. So that's all the only time I saw her. I guess that's been kind of usual for us, though, since I moved down to Goat Shed.
Right.
Got a little bit more distance between us. So last camp, she came down once for me. I got up there once for her right before I had my surgery. And it's pretty much what you said, though. It's been the tale of the camp. Is she just feels great. Every time I ask her, like, I've texted her a couple times since then, obviously. And it's just always, I feel great. I'm ready to fight. I'm just ready to go. I just want this to happen. So, a happy fighter is really the best fighter you can hope for. And that seems like what we have there.
For sure. That's Saturday night, UFC Vegas 79 at the Apex, which is a great card, by the way. It's a great fight night. Gamrot and Fazeev in the main event, which is a fire-ass fight. Unbelievable fight. Michelle Watterson, Marina Rodriguez, really cool fight. Brian Battle, AJ Fletcher. It's a really cool card. But back to Hannah, like, we've seen Hannah train, and it's one of those things, like, she is so freaking good in the gym. What do you think? There's been this little thing twice in the UFC. I think, like, we've seen really high level Hannah. Maybe once or twice we haven't. What do you think it is that, like, okay, Hannah, like, boom, we need the best of Hannah Goldy Saturday night. Like, what is that? Is it a mental hurdle? Is it a body hurdle? Is it a stress of the weight cut? What is it to try to get? What do you think we need to do to get like the best Hannah Goldy Saturday night?
I guess I'm not sure specifically what it is for her. I think it appears mentally in the fight. Like, it appears like she's not executing the way that she normally does in the fight. But I don't know if it does come maybe from fatigue of a weight cut, or if it does come from outside stress going in that camp, or sometimes, like, even in my last fight, like, I just didn't want to fight. Like, I was just like, let's just get this shit over with.
Right.
And it's like, that makes it so, like I said, like, a happy fighter is so important. If you don't want to do it, there's just like no making it happen. Like, I just didn't want to be in there. I just was ready to get it over. And that may be a huge part of it for Hannah. Like, if she had like a shitty camp, things were going on outside of camp, whatever happened where it's like she wasn't able to perform. Like, I don't know necessarily what it is specifically for her, whether it is, or even like for some people, it can simply just be, you're under the big lights. You're in the UFC,
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in, and it's a lot to handle, and it's sometimes hard to channel those nerves in the right way. I know she does work with the sports psychologist at the UFC now, and I do too. I'm like, he's absolutely amazing, and it's crazy the changes that a sports psychologist can make in your game. And I think Hannah's making all the right moves to try to bring the best out of herself on Saturday night.
Nice. And talking about that, I really do like. Got coffee? I like the idea that it's at the Apex. She's had a lot of great moments of her career at the Apex. I was there live for her Contender Series fight that she won at the Apex. The UFC win was at the Apex. So I hopefully that's like, good mojo. Just sometimes there's good feelings for even you personally at a gym or, at an arena or whatever whatever the case may be is. But hopefully that's just good mojo for Hannah, just being back at the Apex, having that good feeling. She's fought there numerous of times, another Vegas trip at the PI, like you said. Hopefully that's just good mojo. And yeah, I'm immensely rooting for. I know you are definitely rooting for Hannah. Like I said, a really big fight. This is a really big fight for Hannah going forward in her UFC career.
Oh yeah, and like you said, I was just looking at the fight card. I think this is honestly like is going to be a last week's card. I feel like we didn't get as good of matchups as we'll see in this week's card. I feel like we have a lot of bangers on the card and a lot of names that people don't necessarily know that are going to bring the fight.
Another one I didn't even mention, and it's kind of, I think, right up your alley, the co-main event, Bryce Mitchell versus Dan Ige. That's a great fight. That's like a really cool, grappler versus the striker. Who's going to, win that just one battle right away. That first minute, 2 minutes of the fight will be vital to who will lead the dance, and it's going to be a great card. I love it.
Oh yeah, all 5 fights on the main card. I was like, oh shit, he's fighting. Oh shit, she's fighting. Like it was. I was excited for everybody, a single fight.
Before, I guess we'll maybe end on that. We'll maybe have fun, a little predictions. Like I said, I really do love the card, so we'll kind of end there. We have to kind of rewind 3-4 days ago, a Noche UFC, which couple things before we'll kind of get into that thing of the main event, because I love it. Because I watch every event. I talk about every event. We have to do videos on it and post about it at Fight Bananas, and that's just what we do. But when something happens, and I say it all the time, it's like when my uncle or niece or nephew or aunt, like they kind of text me or message me like, Dave, like what happened here? Like this was a draw. Like why? Like I don't understand. That's when like they kind of, it's like polarizing. They something broke through to the mainstream. So first of all, with the Noche event, I thought it was awesome. I thought they got a home run on their hands. I think they're going to do it next year. Mexico has so many high-level fighters, not even just fighters, especially in the UFC, especially right now in 2023 and going forward. We can see Rojas Jr. just getting better and better. He could headline the card. Of course, we can have Brandon Moreno headlining the card next year. Yair Rodriguez could be headlining that card. For goodness sake, could be Alexa Grasso next year. Could be Grasso versus Aaron Blanchfield. So much can happen. But I just thought the event itself was awesome. So let me just that's the first question for you, G. What did you think of Noche just as the event for the UFC?
Oh, no, I thought the event as a whole was awesome. And like you said, Raul Rosas was probably the one who impressed me the most. I'm like, that kid is just absolutely on fire. I'm like 18 years old and like I don't know. I think that was his second or third 50K bonus, maybe. Like, just
I think it's
yeah. Just collecting them. I'm like, you see his mom crying in the front row. I'm like, it had me. But just the whole event, it really was awesome. And like you said, I feel like it has so much potential of where it can go right now. We have 2 Mexican champions, 1 interim Mexican champ. Like, there's just so much talent coming out of that area currently.
When I was like 18, 19 years old, I was literally making $10 even. And I remember I thought that was so cool that I was making $10 even. I was working at a movie theater. So I would work like 32 hours a week, be like, oh, cool, I made $320. But by the time taxes was taken out, I would make like $250 a week. Rojas Jr. just made $75,000, $80,000. Yeah, I know taxes will be taken out and gym fees and all that stuff, but the kid probably cleared 50K. He made 50K this past week.
And did it in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah. Let me see. Let's go. Yo, Savage is my entire family favorite UFC's fighter. Oh, the comment was so good. You love. Yo, Savage is my entire family's favorite UFC women's fighter. There you go.
I appreciate it. I feel like I'm always surprised. Like if I ever have fans come up or they're like, oh, I love you. Or like, I love watching your fights. I'm like, oh, I have fans. It's always a shock to me. No, but I appreciate all the support. I love it.
It's the best. It's the best feeling in the world for sure. All right, let's talk about the draw. Have you watched the fight first and foremost? And then if you did, before getting into their decision of the 10-8 of Mike Bell, who did you have winning the fight?
It honestly is such a close fight to call. I think skill-wise, I think Valentina did enough to win. But it's like, I feel like it's also arguable did she do enough to beat a champ? Like, that's the only factor. And I don't think it comes down to, like, the 10-8, obviously, I don't agree with. Like, I don't think that was a 10-8 round. Horrible. You lost, well, like, nothing really happened. And if anything, you were losing the first 3 minutes of the round. And then were able to get a successful position and try to attempt submissions near the end. It doesn't give you a 10-8. But I think it comes down to the fourth round more than anything else, which 2 judges gave it to Valentina, 1 gave it to Alexa, but it depends how you see that round, and I feel like that's how the fight should have been scored off of.
I love that. And of course, especially watching female MMA, and you and I have been talking for a long time, and we've brought up Valentina Shevchenko for a long time in our conversations with a goal that you had, with your sights long time ago, right? And, watching her, and when I saw a 10-8 round, I was like, if that's a 10-8 round, like Gillian the Savage Robertson would be loving 10-8 rounds. Like, that's right up your alley. Like, kind of, let's circle for the first minute and a half. Then you absolutely take down your opponent, dominate. Usually you do get the submission, but you will get a lot of submission attempts. That's what Grasso did. Like, if they're giving that 10-8 round, like, gee, you're 10-8 all day. Like, that's like 10-8 money. But back to what you said about the fourth round. It's funny you said that. First of all, I do want to give like credit to both female. I thought the fight right now is being overshadowed how great of a fight it was. It was a awesome championship flyweight female fight. It was an awesome fight. Like, that fight was really good. Everyone's talking about the scorecard. Everyone's talking about the 10-8, but everyone's like forgetting about how damn good the fight was, how great the second round was when Grasso did get that knockdown of Shevchenko. By the way, that fourth round, I had Grasso winning. So same thing. I can give the scorecard to either one. Like, if you have Shevchenko winning, I wouldn't I'm not going to fight you on it. Like, that's a fun conversation, debate. I can see that for sure. But I had Grasso winning 2, 4, and 5, and Shevchenko winning 1 and 3. All close, all really good rounds. I thought Shevchenko, the rounds 1 and 3, probably won those rounds clearer, like had better rounds. But Grasso had a great second round with that knockdown. Round 4, just better moments. And then that round 5, I felt like she almost finished that fight on the ground in a couple of submission attempts. So, and I give it to her. But what a great fight. Like, I just thought it was such a great fight. And it does stink that it gets overshadowed by this horrendous 10-8 by Mike Bell.
I think that each girl kind of solidified the rounds that they won aside from the fourth round. I feel like the fourth was the only one that was it was a toss up. And I think it was a clear 2-2 besides that. And it's like I said, it just depends how you see that round, if I feel like Valentina might have done more work overall, but Alexa had bigger moments in that round.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
It just depends how you want to judge it. And I hate that people are throwing around the word robbery. Because I'm like, you can't call it a robbery when it's this close of a fight. I'm like, it's a robbery when it's an absolute complete mismatch of what the judges say. But I'm like, this was just it was so close a fight. You can't call it a robbery.
Right. And I totally agree with that. Like, you can't call it a robbery because the fight was so damn close. It's just Mike Bell cannot score any round of that fight a 10-8. Like, that's where the mess up happens. That's where it's horrendous. Like, you just can't do it. And it's so crazy because, like, of course, that week, the UFC and WWE merged together to create TKO, and everyone's like, oh, it's rigged, it's forced, and all of that. It's like, guys, it's like definitely not, because we just talked about round 4 is the close round. Even one judge had Grasso. All Mike Bell had to do was give round 4 to Grasso. Like, I had Grasso winning round 4. Another judge had Grasso winning round 4. You and I talked about it. It's a close round. Like, it's a 55-45 round. That's all Mike Bell had to do. I just don't understand why he gave round 5 to 10-8 to Grasso. And now it's been like 48, 60 hours since that moment. And I know the UFC, I know it would open up a book of worms. I do think it would give a lot of clarity. I think you just nip it in the butt. I say this to my kids all the time. When you mess up, like when you screw something up, like, attack it. Say you're sorry, you apologize, move forward. This is why I did what I did, and just move on. They should have Mike Bell do a mini press conference. He can even do one via Zoom, have 3, MMA reporters on it to ask the 2-3 simple questions, right? That we all want to ask him. Why did you score 10-8? Like, that's all he had to do. Like, that's all you have to do. I just think if he does that, it just gives it clarity. And I just think we can move forward and move on and just be over it. But like, for the UFC kind of like triple down, like, nope, like Mike is not going to communicate. He doesn't need to. He's a judge. It kind of like makes it Like, what are you hiding a little bit in a way?
My dog's shaking a toy like right behind the camera. I'm like, everything's shaking.
I was like, are you in California? Is there an earthquake happening right now?
But no, I agree with you completely. I think I want to say I saw it on Instagram, so I don't know how 100% true it is, but they said that they were.
Wait, you saw it on the internet? It's truth. It's true.
Yeah, it's definitely true. You're right. They said that they were holding like a meeting to like reteach judging, essentially, this week, of like the standards of what a 10-8 actually is, which is definitely, I feel like, a necessary step at least, because there is, I don't, if that's a 10-8, then there is like such a complete difference of what I categorize as a 10-8 and what official judges.
Yeah, I agree. With that being said, Grasso won the fight. Grasso won the first. Won the first fight. This is a draw. A lot of people in the business, in the industry, MMA media are saying trilogy right away, early 2024 trilogy. Like, Grasso was like, no, like, I'm over it. I fought Shevchenko twice. I'm kind of past her. There's a lot of really good prospects, especially Erin Blanchfield. She's right on the radar. She should be next. If you're matchmaker, or if you're in the UFC, or just being personally about it, like, what do you think they should do next? What do you want them to do next?
I think it should be either Manon Fiorot versus Erin Blanchfield, and the winner of that takes them. Or if the UFC just wanted to give either one of those girls the title shot, I wouldn't be angry either. I feel like both those girls deserve it. Obviously, I think the best way to decide would just be like, make them fight. But I'm sitting here she's chewing the stand now. I have a new dog, so she's a puppy, and we're dealing with chewing issues. And
hey, we'll make it happen. We'll make it work. We're very dog friendly here at Fight Banana. Very dog friendly.
But what were we saying?
You were talking about like Blanchfield and Fiorot.
Okay,
maybe should fight each other to be next, or maybe one of them get a shot. It's weird. It's tough because I'm leaning towards Erin, right? I think Erin should get the next title shot. I think the run she's on and how she's winning, it just kind of, she has that it thing. Like, she just has it. Like, she's super young. She's just smoking through everyone, fighting Taylor Santos and defeating her. She hasn't lost. She's had a main event. Like, boom, let's go for that. Like, that's kind of like pull the trigger while it's hot. Blanchfield, Grasso, totally new. Very cool co-main event on a huge pay-per-view, or a great fight night main event for her title. Awesome. But like, what does that do for Shevchenko? Like, do you just kind of put her on the back burner, or do you do Fiorot versus Shevchenko? Like, do you do that? Like, kind of as like 1 versus 3? Like, it's hard. Like, there's really no right answer, or there's really no wrong answer. Like, you can even do Fiorot versus Grasso, and then Blanchfield versus Shevchenko, not for a title, would be like pretty wild. That is wild.
Yeah, some part of me says that the UFC wants Blanchfield as champ.
Me too.
I'm like, I feel like they're gonna try to push her into the spot, and I think she does beat Grasso. Like, I think she has the skills. I feel like her wrestling and her jiu-jitsu combined she's gonna be. I think she's gonna be able to finish Alexa. Honestly, I feel like she's gonna be able to find a sub. Like, Blanchfield's very skilled grappler.
Wow, already predicting Blanchfield as the next flyweight champion. I like it. I do think if that's like a round robin, it's funny because I know whatever they do, whatever they match make next out of those 4, in a weird way, I do feel like if Shevchenko, she is getting up there. She's had one of the best runs in female MMA history, especially flyweight history, probably the GOAT in flyweight ever. How much more does she have left? How much more does she want to fight if it's not really for the championship? There's a lot there. She's kind of in that weird spot, but I just can see all 4 of them fighting like each other one more time, and like a lot of them splitting. Like, I can see Grasso beating Fiorot, and then Fiorot beating Shevchenko beating Blanchfield. Like, I can see a lot of them just kind of really passing the baton to each other. I really can see that.
Oh yeah, and like you said, with the Fiorot and Shevchenko fight, I'm like, that's a fight I want to see too.
That's a sick fight.
That's a fire fight. Yeah. That'd be a great one. So, but either way, whatever you do with those 4, it's like, I would be okay with it as long as Valentina doesn't get another title shot immediately. But I think them versus each other in any way would be great.
I just got a really good text. Okay. Life's good right now. I'm not gonna lie, G. Fight Bananas and Dave and Auchenland. It's life is good. All right. Two last things for you. One, personally, I know you're back, successful surgery. How's everything going? How's training going? I saw you kind of at the track last week or a couple days ago. How did
Yeah, we did 2 days on the track last week, and it was hot. It was very hot. I'll say that.
Okay.
I feel like it was better for me almost because I had the running shoes on. I was able to get better traction, so it was better for my knee. We were working a little bit of boxing and stuff on the track. The rest of the team was doing sprints, but I was just like sticking to my shadow boxing and whatnot. And yeah, it's been feeling good getting back. This week I've been doing a little bit like going live with striking a little bit more, but I'm still just kind of like baby steps into it. We haven't done any live grappling, and even drilling grappling I feel like is the hardest thing for me currently. So it's just, yeah, it's a lot of baby steps with grappling, and I miss jiu-jitsu a lot.
Yes. If there's any I know Awesome definitely and the GOAT, you guys film a lot. If there's any behind the scenes of you doing like sprints 40 times, yeah, Fight Bananas needs that content. We want that content. We want to see Gillian running full speed. Well, that's definitely real material for Fight Bananas.
You want to see Gillian crying after sprints is what you want to see?
Oh gosh. All right, this weekend, 3 predictions, the 3 key fights. Because we both are already picking Hannah Goldy. We got that in the bank for sure. Marina Rodriguez, Michelle Watterson. Seems like Marina was like a hot contender probably 8 months ago, 10 months ago. A little bit of a skid right now. Michelle Watterson, a mainstay of the division for a long time, but she's doing a lot of commentary work right now. She's doing a lot of different things. Do you think Marina's going to get back on track, or do you think Michelle Watterson will kind of hold her ground and hold her spot of the division?
I think this is a really close matchup, honestly. I don't see this like very decisively going one way or the other, but I do think that Marina is a little bit more technical on the feet, and she'll be able to keep it at a closer range than what Michelle would like. I feel like with Michelle's kicks and stuff, she wants it at a little bit of a distance, and I feel like Marina will be able to keep it at the range that she wants. But I think like it's gonna be a good fight. It's gonna be a firefight, and I don't think it's decisively gonna go one way or the other.
Okay, I like that. Co-main event: Bryce Mitchell versus Dan Ige, a firefight. 2 different types of fighters. Who's going to win that fight?
Yeah, exactly. 2 different types of fighters. It's extreme power and striking, and a lot of technical ability and grappling.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't. Every fight this week, I'm like, which way do you call it? It's another one that's gonna be. It depends where the fight goes. It depends if Bryce can get it to the mat, because if he can, he wins. I feel like he wins decisively. But then it's like if Dan starts catching him, I think Bryce does win it though. I think he does.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he will be able to get the fight where he wants it.
It's so funny you say that. After the fight is over, it's going to be one of those. I feel like whoever wins in their genre is going to win decisively. Like if you pick or bet on Bryce Mitchell and Dan Ige pieces him up, like it's going to look like wow, like Dan Ige is going to just brutally piece him up. Or again, if you bet on Dan Ige because he's got the power, better striker, all of that. If Bryce gets him down, like Bryce is going to submit him minute and 80 seconds into the fight, do a twister, do something wild, be like, wow, I put my money on Dan Ige where Bryce Mitchell just got him. So it's going to be, I think, 2 totally different worlds and both great fighters. I just think whoever gets into their genre, whatever, whoever controls that will win that fight. Main event is absolute fire. I think it's going all 25 minutes. I love this fight. It's just for me being in it so deep, this is just one of us. This is like one of our cool main events. Gamrot versus Fiziev, both 2 top 10 guys in the lightweight division. Probably, I would think in 2 years from now, like a lot of those Gaethjes and Poiriers and Bennies and Oliveira's will be kind of a little bit on the way out. This is the future of the lightweight division. These 2 guys, one of them will get a big win Saturday night. You got Gamrot or Fiziev?
This is, again, another fight. I'm like, don't know which way to call it. I absolutely love Gamrot's grappling. Like, I feel like that dude can wrestle from anywhere. Like, he'll legit like get dropped with a punch and then wrestle off of it. Like, it's like no matter what, he's ready to take a shot, ready to. He's just so uniquely awkward with his grappling, and it works so well. And he's so good at making his grappling MMA jiu-jitsu, or like MMA wrestling, MMA jiu-jitsu. He's not just like trying to just wrestle or trying to just do jiu-jitsu. He mixes it all up so beautifully. And I just think he's one of the people who do it better in the sport. Him, Darush, and there's a couple others that just like, they're really trying to like evolutionize the game of MMA and make it like a mixed martial art completely. And I feel like Gamrot does that so beautifully.
Right.
And then Fazeev is like, I feel like the new level, well, like the next upcoming of Gaethje, you know?
Yeah.
Like you said, like those guys are getting up there, and these guys are the next to bring in, and Fazeev is the next Gaethje. So it's like just reckless power coming forward, and technical too, though. But I do think it's going to be a close fight. I do think it goes 25 minutes, but I'm going to go with Gamrot.
I think I'm leaning the same way. I think Fazeev will definitely win a round or two by some like really nice moments. Like you said, he probably will get a knockdown on Gamrot, probably some vicious knees or kicks or leg kicks. Like there's going to be some high level moments for Rafael Fazeev. Guy's a monster. But just for 25 minutes, the continuation of pace, the continuation of grapple, and the continuation of just mixing everything together, what you said perfectly. I think Gamrot will get the job done. Such a great fight this Saturday night. We got Hannah Goldy, Brian Battle on the fight card, and just three great fights we just said with Rodriguez and Watterson, Mitchell and Ige, and then to main event it, we have Dan Ige. We have Gamrot versus Fazeev. So such a great card. I love it. Good stuff.
All right, every single fight, like I said, was a banger from all the prelims too. Every single fight was a banger. So I'm like, it's gonna be a great weekend.
We didn't even mention Jourdain is on the card, the Canadian Pirates on the. It's like, dude, this card. I hate to say, this card is better than what we saw 2 weeks ago on pay-per-view. That Israel Adesanya Strickland card. Like this is a better all-around MMA card. It's a nice card. It really is for a fight night.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Awesome, guys. Episode 38 of My Cuddles. Dave Van Auken, that's the Savage, Gillian the Savage Robertson. Like I said last week, G, that birdie told me something about a Orlando card in December. It's looking like it. I heard another double down on it. So I think it's December 2nd, first Saturday of December. Amway getting it back. I love it.
I've been sending out texts. I'm trying to get something.
All right, there you go. I like it. Well, there we go, guys. Gillian the Savage Robertson, Dave Van Auken. We will see you guys next week. I love the mojo. My Cuddles 39. See you guys next week.